Hi everyone, this is JamshedQureshi here, and in this video we will learn about ngIf inbuilt structural directive in Angular. So in our previous video we had understood about structural directives, what are structural directives and what are its use and the different types of structural directives. And in this video we will refer to the first inbuilt structural directive provided by Angular, that is ngIf. So in a short brief, structural directives help us in adding and removing the UI elements from our application. And ngIf basically checks a condition. If the condition is true, then only it renders that UI element, otherwise not. Let's look at the syntax of ngIf. So we write ngIf in camel casing with an asterisk prefixed to ngIf text, and we assign it to a condition basically. So ngIf actually is attached to the UI element on which it has been written. Say for example, we have written ngIf for this div. So the ngIf condition will hide this div itself as well as its child contents. So whatever is in this div as well as in its child contents will be shown based on this ngIf condition. Let's create a component for this and check ngIf with some examples. So let's create a component for this ngIf directive. We will go to our command line and we will write ngGC lessons / 10th of ngIf underscore in underscore Angular. We will skip the tests as of now. Let's press enter and we have our component created. Let's go to VS Code and check it. Here we have it. Let's write some sample ngIf conditions over here. I will write a div and I will write something inside ngIf. To write the ngIf directive, we will have to prefix it with the asterisk. Let's do that. And ngIf in camel case, and we have to write the condition. So it could be a condition check in itself or a variable. ngIf will basically check if the condition or the variable returns to true. If it returns true, then this div would be rendered, otherwise not. Let's equate this to a variable name is Angular. We don't have this variable in our component. Let's create that. We will make it a boolean and we will equate this to true as of now. We will have to add this component in our app component file. Let's do that. We will remove this. This is from our previous videos. Let's save and see the output. We have not run our application. Let's do that. Now let's check it out again. And here we have it. So let's now try and change our variable value to false and see the output. Now I will move it to false. Let's save and see if we get the output. And that has been hidden because we have changed the value of isAngular to false. In our HTML, ngIf is checking if the component is having a truthy value. Now because isAngular returns false, this div is not going to get rendered. So this is how we write ngIf in Angular, but when Angular compiles our code, it converts this code into something else. Let's try and see how it gets converted. So Angular basically creates an ng template and it wraps our div in that ng template. So what is ng template? In simple terms, ng template is an element provided by Angular which only renders when we provide certain conditions and those conditions returns true. So that is why ng template is mostly used in structural directives. And in this ng template, it will write our div like this, the same way we have written above. And it will write our ngIf in a square bracket, write this, and it will write the condition. Now if we save this, we will have the same output for both of these codes. Let's save and see. We will go to our browser. Let's refresh this. And you see, we don't see any output here. That's because we have changed our variable value to false. Let's change it to true now. Let's save and see the output. Let's go to our browser, and here we have it. So you can see the code which we have written in the div that gets converted into ng template, and we will get the same output. Now there is another way to write ngIf. If you know, in JavaScript there is if as well as the else condition, and there's a way to write the else block in our Angular code. Let's go to our code. Let's remove this. So we will take an example of an e-commerce application, and we want to show some divs if the stock is available, and we want to show some other div when the stock is not available. So we will rename this variable to stock available. And we will create this variable in our file. We will just rename this variable, and here we will write stock is available, and the same thing we will copy and we will render it, and we will show this diff if the stock is not available, or just we will write out of stock. We will just correct this. Let's save and see the output. So since our variable is returning true, we are getting the output stock is available. And if we change it to false, then it will show out of stock. Now if you look at the code here, we are writing two blocks of code, and we have to write the same ngIf condition instead of writing if else condition. So in a way we are repeating our code just to show different divs. So we can handle that in one single code itself. So what we can do, we can write this condition over here, and we can mention which template we want to render when the condition is true and which one to show when the condition is false. How can we do that? So when our condition is true, we can write a then block in our if else condition. We will write stock available, and we will have to create an ng template for that. And we will add an ID for it. That would be stock available. And we will just copy and paste this text inside that block. And we will copy the same template and we'll give it a different name from this, stock not available. Now if we remove this and if we write the else condition over here, and we will correct this, we will write the thing which we had written previously. Okay, so what we are doing here, we are checking the condition if the stock is available. So if the stock is available, then our code will render this ng template block which is here, and if it is not available, if the condition returns false, then this ng template block will be rendered. So in this way we don't have to write ngIf conditions for all of our divs and block of code. We can just mention it over here and we will have our ng template rendered. And another thing is that, and on the code which we are writing this ngIf condition, if we are using then and else block, then this div's content would not be rendered. Let's save and see the output. We will go to our browser and we can see that this will not be rendered, has not been shown on our browser, and the condition returns true. That is why it is showing stock is available. Now let's change it to false. Okay, so the reason we are getting stock is available even after condition returning the false is because we have the variable set to false. We have this set to false, but in our condition we are writing the variable name as well as the template name as same. So we will change the template name. We will write stock is available and we will change it over here as well. Now let's save and see again. Now if we check our browser again, it is showing out of stock. Now this is the correct output because our variable stock available is set to false. So our Angular code will check if this returns true, then it will return this block, else it will return this block, and this block returns out of stock, which is shown over here. Let's change our variable value and see the output again. We will make it true now. Let's save and see, and it shows stock is available. So these are some of the ways we can use ngIf condition. So if you like the video, then please like and subscribe to my channel.